from Artistic Gamer 7 and welcome back to another Create a Sim video. This one is for my Sims 4 Occult discussion dragon thumbnail Sims that I made and then also made the poses for. I will say this one was a lot more difficult to do and create compared to my zombies or elves or fairies, and I already know like the next I've already actually recorded the next Sims 4 Occult discussions by the time I'm doing this voiceover, and I already have a pretty good idea of what I'm going to create the Sims for that thumbnail, and even them I think are going to be easier than this one because I went on the search dive for custom content to actually make these dragons somewhat dragony. One of the things that I had to do that I didn't want to do, on at least not on both of them, was give them wings, and I ended up having to give them the exact same wings, even though I found multiple wings to actually use, and there was one set of wings that I really wanted to use. But the thing with a lot of these like more dragon-like wings, they seem to interfere with a lot of other custom content, and like especially these horns tend to interfere a lot with the custom content. And I will say I at least for surely wanted the horns, because when looking for a dragon tail, unless I was just really bad at looking, I could not find but one, and the way that it looked, just at least in the pictures, it just looked really off. And a lot of the tails that they were showing in the thumbnails, you could pick these random colors that were like neon pink, neon yellow, bright green, like more brighter colors, which would be fun for like a kid's costume or like a kid to just play around with. But actually trying to go for the look and feel of a dragon definitely did not, especially since a lot of the dragon colors that you usually see tend to be darker colors that are more muted versions of colors. Probably the brightest one a lot of times is white. Other than that, and that's technically, if you talk to art teachers and things like that, that's technically not a color. That is the absence of all colors, while black is the presence of all colors. But I'm an art person and I still refer to them as colors just because it makes things a whole lot simpler. But other than that, like, they're red dragons and green dragons and blue dragons, they tend, at least like when you're going for an actual dragon and not to just be a really pretty picture, not to say that an actual looking dragon wouldn't be a pretty picture, they're still pretty pictures, but you know, some people do, their art style is more neon and like galaxy, mystical, whatever, you know, bright colors more, and there's ways artistically to make dragons really bright colors and it look pretty and fine. But I was going for more realistic dragons, even though dragons are not real, but you know what I'm I think you probably can figure out what I'm trying to get across here. So trying to go for that, those tails would have not worked. The only thing I didn't think about is at least downloading the tails and seeing if the skin details would have glitched over top of them, because sometimes with some custom content and things like things that add like that, the skin details I use sometimes will glitch over them and make it be the same color as it. But to me, from what I've seen, it just didn't look like it was going to work for me. So I didn't have a tail, and the tail was a really big thing that I wanted to give them. And I probably could have like photoshopped a tail on, but I was afraid that it just wouldn't look totally right. And since I'd be doing them in different poses and things like that, I didn't want to reuse the same tail. And not reusing the same tail, it would have made it look different from photo to photo, like it wasn't the same tail every single time, just in a different pose. So because of that, I just forgoed the tail and went for wings. And like I said, I wanted to use different types of wings for both of them, but because of the horns that I used, because I really at least wanted the horns to still stay there, I couldn't use most of the wings because they kept glitching with each other. And if I had some other horns, but they just didn't look quite as right. So it was pretty difficult, and trying to make them look like dragons and not like dragon people and not like a demon creature was pretty hard. I did use like the mermaid custom content scales that I have that go over top of them just to try to give them scale looking features if you're close to them, so it maybe gives more of a dragon vibe, but it was pretty hard. I was struggling, and I didn't know how to go with the outfits, because if dragons were to come in the capacity of playable characters and like dragonborn, dragonfolk, whatever they would go with as a name, I definitely obviously want them to have human features, but enough to distinguish them as dragons as well. But I didn't exactly know how I'd want to go with the clothing. Probably almost a medieval look or like an adventurer's look would be nice, and I sort of was trying to go for that, but because knowing that not everyone's playstyle would have been that way, I didn't try to go too far that way. Also, a lot of my CC is not medieval. I have some that can be considered adventurer, maybe. But yeah, so it was pretty challenging. I tried, the pants I went with both of them, I think have like a little pocket or a little side thing on them. That was sort of the thing I was going for. And I will say with the guy, I was trying so hard not to make it more so than the girl to not look like a demon, because I did go with red with him. I didn't want to use the same skin tone for both of them. And honestly, like, I didn't realize how lack of colored skin tones I have for males when it comes to even my skin details, because my skin details, I have some that have some pretty strange colors to them, but most of them are more female, so even if it gives you the option for it to be put as an overlay on the male, or like a detail on the male, it has more of a breast feature versus a just normal male chest. So it caused me not to pick from many colors, and I eventually had to go with the red that was in the games and just try to put skin details and different things like that over top of it. I eventually found one skin detail that at least darkened the color and didn't make it look like that very bright, almost tomato-like color. So I tried really hard. I'm honestly, when I finished this, like, I was happy with them. And in the screenshots and stuff like that, I had downloaded, which I haven't actually edited the thumbnail completely. Like, I haven't finished the thumbnail for the Sims 4 Occult Discussions for the dragons. But I do have models of the Skyrim dragons for in my Sims game with a few different color palettes on it. And I was going to I'm going to try to include them in the thumbnail, but I do have some screenshots at the end of this that has them with that dragon. So seeing them with him makes them feel almost more like dragon people a little bit more. So, but on their own, I'm quite afraid that people will interpret them more as a demon than a dragon. But I was trying so hard to go more dragon feel than demon feel. So I hope in some degrees it came across sort of. I was limited, even going out and looking for CC, which, you know, normally when I do Creative Sims, I don't go and look for specific CC. These Occult Discussion Sims are the only ones that I've done that for, where I've specifically went to go look for CC for them, and, like, actually try to have CC to make these more, like, mythical creatures, or these occults, whatever you want to refer to them as. So, I tried so hard to find more dragon stuff, and there was, like, when I was typing in dragon, it was mostly like dragon print tattoos and dragon shirts and things like that, and I think I even tried putting tattoos on them because I was going to try to go for more of a, like, a not necessarily tribal, but, you know, like, they're like a clan or a village, so maybe they wear, like, war paint, or, like, that's just a part of their culture. But the tattoos, if I remember correctly, the tattoos started making him, because I tried it on him, I didn't try it on her, but they started making him almost look, at least the tattoo options I had for the most part, was straining more towards, it didn't seem like it would fit a dragon having them, or once I put too many on it, it started to me giving more of that demon feel, which is what I was so trying to avoid that, because with the CC I had, and technically those wings are classed as a CC objects as demon wings, which, the way they're designed, they easily could go both ways, because they at least have, like, that claw on the top of the wing, so it fits for, I think, dragon or demon, but at the same time, I didn't want to use these wings on both of them, but I was limited because things were glitching over top of each other and all different stuff, so I tried. Like I said, it was not easy, and trying to figure out clothes, like, trying to give them, like, I wasn't sure. I really wasn't sure. Like, even as I'm talking about it now, there was, like, some things that I'm like, I'm still second guessing some of my decisions because I just wasn't 100% sure on where I wanted to go with them and stuff. I think if they did this, they would need to come out with some clothes that was definitely more fantasy looking and, like, maybe, like, villagey looking, because I would imagine that if dragons were brought in as an occult, like dragon people, they would not tend to live where normal Sims and stuff are living, and not tend to congregate with them too much, and maybe they're more isolated, so they don't have everything like humans do, or they do, but they still try to stay in hiding, so they still have some of that village feel to them to some degree. But yeah, so I did try. Let me know down in the comments below how you think of them and how you think they turned out. Like I said, I wish there were some more differences, but if Sims actually truly made this an occult and they actually truly tried to make them somewhere in between Dragony and Sim-like, and like did like a good clothing line to go with it, like I said, I want this to be like a fantasy expansion pack, the fairies, elves, and dragon people together. So if they went down and did like clothes specifically for those groups and things like that, I think things would be a lot better. And, you know, have different wing options if they did chose to actually do the wings, but also have tail options. Have dragon tails, because I really wish they had tails. That is my biggest regret, that I could not find good tail at all. Like I said, I only found one, and it just didn't seem like it would fit for what I wanted it to, so I didn't even bother downloading it. But anyway, let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. I hope you liked this video. If so, hit that lovely like button, subscribe, all that lovely YouTube goodiness. I will also have the link to the Create a Sim playlist for this series, as well as the Sims 4 Occult Discussions playlist down in the description below as well, if you want to go check those out if you haven't already, or you think you've missed some. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye!